glad to be back with you. So we've talked about the militia and how throughout the early parts of our country, it was the primary military force. But largely it was misused and abused, which led to a lot of the misconceptions about the militia's effectiveness as a whole. Now, moving forward, there were a lot of great improvements with the militia in the 1800s that led to some successes, and with the introduction of the Dick Act, a wholly unconstitutional act, we did see something very important, that communication matters. Through communication and better training, a uniformity of training across the board, militia units, state security forces, achieved major victories in the Spanish-American War. Now, there wasn't a lot of activity militia-wise in this country that we can actually point to from the 40s through the 70s because of the National Guard. Most militias were absorbed into the National Guard, or they just kind of went off the grid and no one really heard from them because social media didn't exist and there wasn't a lot of way to bring attention to them. Now, as the 90s progressed, we've seen a lot of militias coming back up. And the big danger we saw was crazies. In a couple of cases, crazy, angry, stupid people did stupid things. Terry Nichols is a good example of that. And he created a very negative attitude toward the Michigan militia, who overall are good people, who are just practicing to be prepared and do right by their neighbors. Now, what we need to realize in the movement today is communication is essential. A good vetting program is essential. Most of us have that going. The 3% Original, we have an excellent vetting program. We work very hard to keep crazies and weirdos out. I so far have not ran into any crazies, sovereign citizens, or anything like that as a member of the 3% Original. Kudos to our leadership for that. Being part of leadership now. Okay. Anyway, but communication is something we're weak on. State level communication we're great at. All the zone leaders communicate pretty well. We're all friends, we're buddies. But what we need across the board is our state training officers communicating with each other, sharing ideas, and creating a uniform training standard that's going to serve us all across the board. Just because Alabama's well trained and just because Arkansas and Mississippi are well trained doesn't mean they're well trained together or that they're going to know how to work together. We need our state training officers to start concentrating on that. And our other 3% brothers and other groups, we need them to start working with us and us working with them so that there's some understanding of how we're training and how we're working together. Of course we have to match our values to people and communicate those things and make sure we're working with people that are within our set of ideals and morals and stuff like that. But we have to get that communication out there. We have to establish those lines of communication. Otherwise, it's going to be just like it was 100 years ago. It's going to be several groups of well-trained people who don't know how to work together, and their training means nothing because they're stepping on each other's tips. I encourage our state leaders and our state training officers to reach out to each other and really, really, really try to create a uniform training standard across the board that we can share and learn to work together with each other. As always, folks, be decent to each other because we're all in this together. God bless.